Hi everybody! I know this is a weird place to do an intro for my collab video, but this is as quiet as it's going to be for me today. So this is it. This is a space for you and me. This collaboration is put together by Recipes with Roy. His link is going to be down below with the other people who are participating in the collab. And it is quick weeknight meals. Now let me just explain. I'm sorry, I've been shopping all morning and I am sweaty. Okay, so for me, a weeknight meal these days is going to be more like, I've mentioned it before, I eat a lot during the day and I get a lot of my calories done for breakfast and for lunch. So in the evening, I'm not really hungry. So a quick meal for me, it really helps for me to have a soup that's ready and on hand. Many times my family will have something else and the soup is all I want. Soup and good crusty bread or good whole grain bread or something to go with it. So I have two that I'm going to show you. They're really quick. One of them, the second one, takes a little while to roast the vegetables, but once they're done, it's just pop everything in the blender and then put the soups in the fridge and you just have them for the week. You can pull them out and just reheat what you want to eat. Now, I'm going to have to figure out the points for one of them, but I know the zuppa toscana that I make is 4 points. I put that in the tracker, and that's without adding the Parmesan cheese on top, because everybody wants a different amount of cheese on top or they don't want any at all. So I didn't include that in the count. But anyway, I just went shopping this morning, and when I was in the store, I noticed, I was looking at all of the Progresso soups because there's some of them that we like, and they have this Mediterranean lentil soup that looked really good. The only problem is when I looked at the sodium, it was 660 grams of sodium. A bottle of soda, I think it's like a 12-ounce bottle of soda is, I think, it depends on the soda, but a diet orange is like 85, and then you have like Diet Coke, you're going to be somewhere beneath 120 or something like that. And that seems like a lot of sodium, but 660, and that's per cup, per serving. So that's just outrageous. So I think in another video, I'm going to make my own version of a lentil Mediterranean soup, but that's not here. Here you're going to get zuppa toscana and a roasted sweet potato soup that is out of this world and extremely filling. All right, let's get started. All right, let's get started here with the first soup. I'm going to show you my ingredients. Very simple. I'm going to be using some of this Jenny O fresh turkey sausage, and it's just a regular sausage, turkey sausage, and it has just enough spices for this soup. I'm going to be using 1 diced onion. I have 6 or 7 leaves of curly kale here, and I'm going to clean them off of the stems and get rid of the stems. And I have about 3 large celery. I'm going to dice those up. And then I have some cans of potatoes, so I don't have to cook the potatoes. These are really quick. These are already cooked. I keep a lot of these in my pantry for times like this. And I'm going to be using 2 of them diced in the soup. And one of these cans, I will show you what I'm going to do with this to thicken the soup up. And that's what I'm going to set one can aside for. I'm also going to be using a half a cup of half and half. And if you want to use fat-free, that's fine. I just don't want to use it because they put corn syrup in that one. I'm going to use some chicken broth. You can use veggie broth if you want, but I think that the chicken is much more flavorful. I'm going to be using 1.5 of these boxes. And then I'm going to be using some Parmesan cheese to sprinkle on top. So this does not go into the soup itself. All right, let's get started. I'm going to dice up my onions and my celery, and I am just going to put maybe like a teaspoon of olive oil down at the bottom. You don't have to put it down at the bottom. I mean, it's going to cook just fine without it. I think that a lot of people put way too much oil at the bottom of the pan when they want to saute their mirepoix, and it's really not necessary. It will get cooked. All right, and then I'm going to, once that's nice and soft, I'm going to add the turkey sausage, and I'm just going to cook that until it browns. It's going to leave it here for just a second. It doesn't look so hot right now, but once it starts cooking, it'll look much better. In the meantime, while that's cooking down, I'm going to dice up my 2 cans of the potatoes. This looks like it's cooking nicely. I'm going to add the potatoes once that's ready and the meat is cooked. And I'm just going to stir that up a little bit, and I'm going to add the chicken broth next. So in goes the chicken broth, and what I'm going to do is just cook this and bring the heat up. I really want to bring it to a boil if I can. And I think I'm going to, this is just one box, so I'm going to open the other one and add just a little bit of that, probably about half. Okay, so over here on the side, I've got my reserved can, and I've drained it. All of them, I've drained all the potatoes. And I'm going to stick that in here with 1 cup of the broth from the soup pan, and I'm just going to blend it up in the blender, and it looks kind of like mashed potatoes, but what I'm going to do is add this back to the soup, and that's going to help kind of cream it without adding extra fat to the soup. Okay, so there's my creamed potatoes added to the soup, and then goes my half a cup of half and half, and here's where the magic happens. This is when it looks like a nice creamed zuppa toscana soup, and I have not added the kale yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and then I am going to add the chopped kale until it wilts. And so while that's coming up, I'm going to show you some spices, simple spices. I'm just using pepper, some granulated garlic, and some sea salt. This is actually kosher salt, and this is all just to taste. I like a whole lot of garlic in mine, so I'm going to add probably about a teaspoon and a half of garlic to mine, and then salt and pepper to taste. And so that started boiling, so I'm going to be adding in the kale a little bit at a time, stir it in, and then I'm just going to cover it after it's all added, lower it, and just simmer it until the kale is wilted, and it is going to be ready to go. It's a really, really fast soup to make, but it's so satisfying. The whole family loves it. I serve it with crusty bread with sourdough. I just had 1 piece with this tonight. And sourdough seems to have other health benefits. So if I'm going to have white bread, I really want to make it sourdough and make it nice and crusty. I put my smattering of Parmesan cheese up on top, and it is good to go. All right, so next we are going to be making a sweet potato carrot bisque, and I've got 2 large sweet potatoes which I peeled and cut up, 3 large carrots cut up, 1 large onion cut up, and about 5 cloves of garlic. I put just a little bit of pepper and kosher salt on it, and I have to admit I forgot to add a cup of fresh tomatoes to this to roast. But if you don't like tomatoes, no problem. You're still going to love it. It is absolutely fabulous either way. Here they are. They are cooked at 350 for about 45 minutes. Make sure they're tender. If they're not tender, cook them for a little bit more. So I've got them here in a blender. I'm going to use chicken broth. You can use vegetable broth if you want, but I find that the chicken broth adds a little more flavor for me. About 4 cups of fresh spinach here. I'm going to add the chicken broth to this in the blender and blend it, and then add the spinach little by little. And so that's all in here in the blender. Now, if you add the tomatoes and you need to do it in 2 batches, you can do that. But look at it here. So you can see what color it's going to be. Adding the green kind of changes it. It gives it a kind of a muted color, but it's still pretty good. Here it is. It is absolutely fabulous. I have to tell you, this is so good. You really don't need to add any other spices. Roasting the veggies brings out a whole new dimension to them. And this is so full of fiber and beta carotene. It is absolutely amazing. And this is really going to fill you up. So you don't really need a lot with this. Maybe a little crusty bread, maybe a little quesadilla, maybe, you know, something else, a little light sandwich. I'm going to be having a whole wheat pita here with a little cream cheese and some veggies, and that is going to fill me up for a long time. There's tons of fiber here, tons of veggies. This here is a vegetarian meal, obviously, but it's very quick. So I am all set. I have soup ready for the week to pull out. There are 5 servings in each one of these large jars, and my family and I are set. Thanks again to Recipes with Roy for organizing this collaboration. Check out the links below, and if you're new here, I hope you'll decide to stay for more. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you soon.